Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Learn English with Juhi. So today we are going to discuss about the outline story of the Duchess of Malfi, which is written by John Webster. So without wasting any time, let us start with the summary of the Duchess of Malfi. So students, before we start with the summary, let us discuss about the characters in this play. So the first main character of this play is the Duchess, who is the heroine of this play, Duchess of Malfi. She is a widow, noble and courageous lady. She loves and marries Antonio secretly. She begets two sons and a daughter. She is strangled to death by Basola at the command of her two brothers. Second character, who is the love of the Duchess, is Antonio. He is a steward. He becomes husband of the Duchess. He is totally an inactive man. He had non-heroic qualities. The third character is Basola, who is a tool villain. He spies on the Duchess for her two brothers. He kills the Duchess and later repents for his deeds. He kills Antonio by mistake. He kills the wicked brothers of the Duchess. The next main character is Ferdinand, who is the Duke. Duke means king. He is twin brother of Duchess, a rash, violent man of his action. He becomes mad after the Duchess' death because of his guilt. He is killed by Basola at the end. The next character is the Cardinal, who is another brother of the Duchess. He is shrewd, cunning, and manipulated too. He is also killed by Basola at the end of the play. The next character is Delio, who is Antonio's friend. He is confident of Antonio. He helps Antonio in whole play. The next character is Cariola, who is the maid servant of the Duchess. She is confident of Duchess. She remains faithful to her mistress till end. She is killed by Basola along with the Duchess. Next is Julia. She is wife of a courtier, Castruccio, and mistress to the cardinal. The eldest son, a lone survivor in the end, because everybody dies at the end. He was the only survivor, inherits the throne of Malfi. Courtiers were Castruccio, Silvio, Roderigo, and Malatesti. These are the courtiers. So let's start with the summary, with the play. So the summary of the Duchess of Malfi. The Duchess of Malfi is a story of a young widow, as I have already told you, who is cruelly murdered by her brothers. Her only fault is that she marries a man who is not socially equal to the Duchess. The central character of tragedy, the Duchess of Malfi, is a young and beautiful widow. She has two brothers, Cardinal and Duke Ferdinand. Both brothers warn the Duchess against her second marriage, especially one with a person of low birth, because they think that her second marriage would bring disgrace to their royal and prestigious family. Ferdinand is the Duke of Calabria and lives in Rome along with his brother, the Cardinal. Duke Ferdinand secures a high post for Basola from the Duchess of Malfi in her court. Basola is a villain who acts as a spy for the brothers of Duchess. The Duchess has already made her mind to marry her loyal steward Antonio. She knows that if she remarries, her brother would not spare both of herself and her husband. Even then, she takes her maid Cariola into her confidence and asks her to call Antonio. Duchess makes him convinced to marry her. They marry secretly, only in the presence of God and the maid servant Cariola. Antonio tells his friend Delio that he has been married to the Duchess. Basola suspects that Duchess is pregnant. As a test, Basola gives her some apricots. She eats relishly. She becomes sick all of a sudden and retires. She goes into labor pains. Antonio becomes nervous. Delio devises a plan to hide the truth. Delio advises Antonio to give out that the Duchess has been poisoned by the apricots presented to her by Basola. Antonio further gives out that some jewels of the Duchess have been stolen and therefore all the officers should remain in their rooms till morning. The same night, Duchess delivers a boy. Basola wants to know the mystery and to get some clues. He comes out of the room, he encounters Antonio. Antonio starts accusing him of poisoning the Duchess. But when Antonio leaves, he accidentally drops the horoscope of the newborn boy of the Duchess. Basola picks it up and realizes the truth. However, he is not certain who is the father of the boy. Basola sends the information to the brothers of the Duchess, Cardinal and Ferdinand. Ferdinand becomes furious and swears vengeance. But the identity of the boy's father is not known to Basola or to the brothers. The Duke resolves that he would kill the Duchess once he learned who her lover is. 2 or 3 years pass. Antonio reveals that he has fathered 2 sons and a daughter by the Duchess. Ferdinand arrives Malfi. The Duchess wants to talk to him, but the rumors going around about her. Ferdinand says that he has confidence in her. Comforted Duchess has a fine time with Antonio. Ferdinand enters in the chamber of the Duchess by the false key. He hears that she mumbles about her secret, but he could not know who her lover is. He curses her and threatens to kill her lover. Ferdinand gives her a dagger, suggesting her to commit suicide, and he goes to Rome. The Duchess requests Antonio to escape to Ancona. She assures him that she would meet him there later. After the departure of Antonio, the Duchess lets the news spread that Antonio has cheated in her account and he has been banished from Malfi. Basola doubts the genuineness of the story of Antonio's banishment. He prays Antonio and the Duchess pleases. She takes him to be a friend. She reveals that Antonio is her husband. She asks Basola to take her jewels to him to Ancona. Basola advises her to pretend to go on a pilgrimage to Loreto, which is very close Ancona, and in this way her departure would be looked honorable. She accepts the suggestion of Basola. Basola promptly goes to the Duke and reports the matter. The Duke Ferdinand sent the 150 soldiers along with Basola to capture the Duchess and Antonio. The Duchess' another brother Cardinal gives up his religious post and becomes a general to fight a battle for the emperor. The Duchess goes to the shrine of Loreto and meets Antonio. This is her last meeting with him. The cardinal, through his influence with the Pope, gets the Duchess and Antonio banished from Ancona. The Duke Ferdinand writes a seemingly affectionate letter to the Duchess to send Antonio to him. But the Duchess refuses to oblige as she knows that his brother is very cruel and Antonio will be killed if she acts upon his brother's bidding. She asks Antonio to escape to Milan along with their eldest son. The masked Basola meets the Duchess and arrested her. The Duchess submits to its fate. with calm and fortitude. The cruel brothers persecute the Duchess. They subject her to horrible tortures, physically as well as mentally, in every possible way. The manner in which the Duchess is killed is horrible. Basola asks the Duchess to prepare for death. The Duchess remains calm and unperturbed. She offers herself to be strangled. The Ferdinand enters. On seeing her dead body, he feels remorse. He blames Basola for not saving her life. He cannot bear the sight of his sister's dead face. When Basola asks for his reward, the Duke says the maximum he would get is a pardon for the crime. The Duchess comes to consciousness when the Duke goes out. Basola comforts the Duchess by telling him a lie that Antonio is reconciled to her brothers. On hearing this, uttering a word mercy, she dies. Basola decides to avenge the death of the Duchess. Antonio, on the other hand, is quite unaware about the tragic end of the Duchess. He tells Delio he is going to risk his life by going to the Cardinal's chamber at midnight to request for reconciliation. Ferdinand has become full crazy. The cardinal tells Julia that Duchess was murdered at his instance. Julia says that she cannot keep this truth safe. The cardinal kills her too. The cardinal asks Basola to come to his room to remove the dead body of Julia. Basola comes in that exact time with an intention to kill Cardinal. But Antonio has reached there already. Taking Antonio as Cardinal, Basola kills him. Then the Cardinal comes in and Basola wounds him. The Duke, who is now in a violent mood, enters in the Cardinal apartment and attacks the Cardinal, who has been already wounded by Basola. The Duke also gives a fatal wound to Basola before being killed by the latter. Soon Delio, along with the elder son of Antonio, enters and the play ends with the final words of Delio. So at the end, there is no poetic justice. The innocent and the virtuous Duchess, Antonio and their children suffer and are destroyed. But wicked also do not prosper. They are also destroyed in the end. The evil is expelled and destroyed, but along with it, much good is wasted. In the end, the wicked forces are rooted out and moral order is established. So here we have ended with the story, with the play, The Duchess of Malfi. So here are some important questions related to the play. Discuss the Duchess of Malfi as a revenge play. Discuss Basola as a villain. Write a critique on Webster's moral vision in the Duchess of Malfi. Webster is basically a moralist in his plays. There is always a quest for moral order. Discuss. These both questions are the same. Answer will be the same for both the questions. Give a character sketch of Duchess. So these are some important questions which may come in exam, and you can find the answers from the play which we have already discussed. And still, if you want the correct explanation of each question, you can comment in a comment box. I will make the next video for the same. And अगर आपको same explanation हिंदी में चाहिए, if you want to discuss the same play in Hindi, you can comment in a comment box. I will come with the next video with the same explanation in Hindi. And channel को subscribe करना मत भूलिएगा. Do subscribe, like and share. Bye bye. Thank you so much.